Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us here on What's Brewing with Jim and Gigi. We have a lot to talk about concerning the weather. We've got a big storm brewing.
Yeah. Ton of details to dig into. I'm going to do that in a little bit here.
Yeah, but we do have a story in preparation for everything going on this weekend. The cold weather, the potential snow, the freezing rain, everything like that. A lot of people around Eastern Carolina are gearing up, heading to the hardware stores, heading to grocery stores already, but many getting, ice melt, shovels, propane, anything to help them as we hunker down this weekend. So
ice melt's a biggie.
Yeah.
Because we could have a significant ice storm. The way it's looking now, and again, everything I'm telling you, we're still a good ways out, so we're seeing a lot of shifts. The biggest change to me, a more inland push with the heavier snow. It looks like that may stay west of us and north of us, but that may set us up for a significant freezing rain potential event. That's almost worse than snow, in all honesty, and the impacts. So we'll kind of talk about that shortly.
Okay, great. So let's take a look at what everyone's doing right now in preparation for the storm.
With forecasts projecting winter weather this weekend, some Greenville residents say they aren't taking any chances.
Very much prepared. Have to be ready. At my age, you don't want to be unprepared. And so I'm doing all my last minute shopping today.
One local hardware store in Greenville that carries rock salt, shovels, and even propane, all necessities for the cold ice and snow, sold out of many of those items in just one day, leaving some shelves empty.
Probably a good about 30 to 40 people already, and we've got probably maybe about 5 bags of rock salt left.
I was the last one to get the windshield scraper, and I'm happy to get it.
One customer says he's glad to have been able to grab rock salt ahead of time, saying it's a necessity.
Yeah, today, in the anticipation of the ice and snow that are coming, I got some ice melter. And it's particular interest to me because my wife's handicapped, and we have a ramp. And we know it's going to freeze over because it's aluminum, and then we won't have access in and out of the house.
Hodges shared some cold weather tips for those at home.
Honestly, be really prepared and just realize that, it's always good to stock up. The rock salt is not going to expire, so you can leave it in the garage, keep it dry, get your propane for refilled or exchanged and everything like that. That way, in case you need to use propane heaters, things like that, you can always, have that at your beck and call.
In Greenville, Charlene Richards, WITN News.
Well, Jim, I'll toss it right to you. I know you have a lot to talk about with this winter weather on the way.
Yeah, I like the rock salt, and I think flashlights, certainly I'm going to pick up a few more of those, I already did, in case the power goes out. That's one of the big things. When you get an ice storm, the tree limbs start coming down, all that weight of the equivalent of the water from all that ice, it's a lot of weight. So limbs start coming down, you can start getting power lines coming down. One of the big problems with ice storms, the power outages. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get that, but if the trends continue the way they are, that's a good possibility. So be ready for that chance. Let's dig into the graphics. First alert weather days continue. They start Saturday morning as the sun's coming up. We'll go into first alert weather status. We won't come out of that till probably at least into mid-morning Monday, depending on the precip over the weekend. If we end up in more of a rain event Sunday, we may be able to get to a pretty good place, although sunrise Monday, regardless, will have slick spots. There's a storm developing on the Gulf Coast. We roll you into the weekend. Here's Saturday. So initially, light precipitation well ahead of the building storm starts headed into the area. Snowflakes and sleet. It'll be cold enough probably just about everywhere in eastern North Carolina on Saturday to ensure frozen precipitation. How much snow, sleet, that's still kind of in question. I don't see a ton of it, but it's going to be so cold it won't take much to get the roads slick in many areas. So plan on slick conditions developing Saturday, all right, with even a little bit of snow and sleet. And again, if the storm comes earlier, that'll get heavier on Saturday. We go into Saturday night, watch the rain lift up to the coast. Late Saturday night, Sunday, this looks like primarily rain right now towards the sounds through the coast to me. That's rain to freezing rain line, if you will, roughly running from the Albemarle Sound back towards maybe Richlands, down towards, I don't know, Pink Hill, maybe southern Lenoir County. And again, that's going to shift and move around. So don't lock in on the exact transition line as much as the pattern. Freezing rain inland, rain coast. The line shifting around. The further inland you get, the higher the chance of a significant amount of ice. Notice I didn't put snow and sleet on there. Most of the atmospheric profiles support primarily freezing rain for us when the bulk of the storm's coming through. When we're really accumulating precipitation or rain, it's either going to be freezing rain or rain probably. You go west, north of Raleigh, and then into Virginia, they may be measuring the snow with a yardstick, potentially in a few areas, well over a foot for some folks west and more so north of us, the way it looks now. But we may dodge the big snow bullet on this one. Wintry weekend mess, my wording for Saturday, precipitation moving in. I put sunrise. That certainly could change. I'd rather put sunrise in there, and even if it arrives at midday or into the afternoon, the chance of it coming early gets you thinking that way. I want to have you thinking maybe sunrise, even if it holds off, then good. We get a little break in the morning. Eventually it will settle in, whether sunrise, midday, or mid-afternoon. Light snow and sleet in most areas. Some accumulations, again, look likely on Saturday. Not big high totals, but again, it's going to be so cold, I think we'll have plenty of slick spots out there on some of the roadways developing during the day. Too early to talk snow totals again. Boy, if you were jumping on some of the early week stuff, I heard people saying 8, 9, 10 inches of snow. Like, don't listen to that. It's Monday, it's Tuesday, don't listen to that. And now it looks like certainly much lower snow numbers here, and we said that would happen. Now, could it switch back? Could we end up with a 6+ inch snow? Yeah, but right now the trend is much more to freezing rain here. Saturday night, Sunday night, big chunk of time with precipitation. Snow changes to freezing rain as we get into Saturday night for the inland areas. On the coast, it changes to all rain. Potential significant ice building up inland. This is the main thing I'm going to be thinking about at my house. All right, do I have any limbs hanging over power lines, or any dead limbs or questionable limbs, period? Try to get some of those out of there. Power outages certainly will be possible. And then again, obviously, if that ice does accumulate, driving is going to become very dangerous just about everywhere where that freezing rain is falling. So keep that in mind, folks. As we get deeper into the weekend, driving certainly could become much more hazardous. All right, let's come back to today. That's the latest data. And again, I keep saying it, shifts and changes. All right, we're seeing one of those shifts this morning with the heavier snow running more inland the way it looks now. Sunny, cold today, breezy at times. That 42 I needed to update to a 52. Low 50s this afternoon. This morning, we're a long ways from low 50s. Under those clear skies, the thermometer's tumbling all the way into the teens. Greenville's now at 19. Ahoske's been holding at 11 for the last 2 hours. I'm going to say mid to upper teens inland, mid 20s to upper 20s as you get near the coast. Every single location freezing or lower, even Hatteras and Beaufort. A little frost on the windshields out there on the coast where there's more moisture in the air. The winds, nope, very calm. Air temps this afternoon. That's a big warm-up. From a 20 to a 50 plus, 30-degree warm-up. Dry air. You see it in the deserts. Cold nights, warm afternoons. The dry air cools and warms very efficiently. A lot of sunshine all day. Frigid to cool, a.m. to afternoon. 60 tomorrow. How about that? It's nice to say 60 before all this mess comes in. Another big aspect is going to be the long run of cold air. I'll show you that in just a sec. The big map, the high pressure on the East Coast. So again, we're good today, tomorrow, Friday. Some of the rain starts to arrive. Let me show you that. We'll roll that map. There's tomorrow morning. Air temp probably around 40 tomorrow morning. Into the afternoon, that mild air comes in on a south wind. 61, 62 degrees. All right, here comes the cold air coming in Friday afternoon. Raindrops scattered in nature midday into the afternoon hours on Friday. All liquid. Front right south of us Saturday. I rolled that graphic through Saturday morning. I think there will be precipitation over us. This model says there won't. I think there will be. It'll be light probably, but some snowflakes, maybe a little sleet near the coast or a little freezing rain. Moving in Saturday. Saturday night it gets heavier, more widespread. You can see this model, that transition line I was showing you on this particular model has got it more towards Greenville, north and south, a wider area of rain. If that verifies, that would be good news as far as the ice accrual. Again, it's probably going to change. It may shift back towards the coast, so don't jump on that, folks. In fact, most of the data says it will be colder. Sunday evening, still a mess. Coastal rain, inland ice, maybe mixing with some snow. And then the cold snap. So that mess leaves Sunday night, but the cold air is going nowhere for a while. From the weekend through all of next week, potentially into the following weekend as well. Every single overnight in the teens to low 20s, with highs struggling to get over freezing. Keep the faucets dripping. Re-insulate outdoor pipes. This kind of cold snap will test your pipes to their limits. If you've got anything questionable, do everything you can to get it insulated and protected. You will have issues in this kind of cold snap. Take care of your pets. That should go without saying, but every time we see stories about pets that are neglected in these kind of cold snaps. Be safe with all those portable heating devices. Safe, 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 and smart. You'll be using all of them. And check with your neighbors. Make sure they're in a good place with that cold air coming in. That's behind the weekend mess. First alert status for the weekend again. And then next week, locked in the ice box. Look at those lows. Monday night, Tuesday night, 12 to 14 degrees. Oh, yeah. That's a cold run, Gigi. Again, the weekend, I keep saying it, I'm going to say it again. We're not, the reason I don't have snow totals or ice totals is still a little early for that. The numbers change every day. They shift around sometimes dramatically. We're letting you know there will be some snow and ice accumulation. Just lock on that. We'll get totals to you, what we're thinking as far as totals, tomorrow into Friday, and then you can plan accordingly for that. But I don't want to throw we're going to get this much snow, and then the next day I have to come back and say, now it says this much.
Right.
More data, closer to the event, the better the data.
Yeah, better to be safe than sorry as well there, too. Just having everyone know that you should be preparing for something like this mess of a weekend that we're having. I know somebody in our comments here, we have quite a few comments. Somebody mentioned going to the grocery store. It sounds like next few days are your good chances to do anything that you need to do outside, all of your errands, because it's probably wise to kind of hunker down this weekend. Avoid the roads if you can. Looks like it'll probably be sticking around as well with these cold temperatures continuing into early next week as well.
I would assume worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And hope that we do better. Worst case scenario is, we're going to be kind of stuck inside over the weekend. And that'll linger into next week, too, if indeed we get a lot of freezing rain and that wintry mix. Those temps are just going to be so cold. So we'll have some slick mornings into next week. But plan on the worst-case scenario, making travel very difficult all weekend into early next week. And plan accordingly. Make sure your meds are up to date, everything else we talked about, the cold weather tips. And then, again, if we do better, if more of us get rain than freezing rain, Sunday, great. Maybe we can be in a good place, but right now I'm leaning on the cold side and leaning on the wintry mess for the weekend. Yeah,
absolutely. And there was one comment by Casey over on Facebook too. Should I cancel my plans on Saturday? I know you mentioned timing on everything going on Saturday is still kind of up in the air. So
I would probably cancel and reschedule rather than risk it. And again, don't get mad at me if Saturday ends up cloudy with just a little precip. That certainly could happen, Casey, but right now I think we will have light frozen precipitation moving in Saturday. And again, most of that's going to stick. It's going to be very cold out there. So that means driving likely will start getting dangerous as we dig into the day Saturday, and then Sunday could be a big mess.
Okay, well, thank you, Jim. We do have to hop off this morning, but thank you to everyone who's joining us on Facebook. I know we've got a lot of comments, so thank you again. You can join us again at 8 a.m. for another news and weather update. Jim will have more on this winter weekend storm and everything going on in the next few days with weather-wise.
Yeah, Les, don't buy all the bread and milk. Leave some for the rest of us. But get prepped, get ready for the weekend event.
Absolutely. Well, hope you all have a great day.
WITN First Alert Desk is sponsored by Toyota of Goldsboro.